Well, Sabbath greetings to everyone. I hope you've had just a marvelous week. I hope it's been a good week for you. It's been hopefully a productive week. On this front, it's been a very, very good week, an encouraging week on many fronts. And certainly appreciate all of those who were able to attend the virtual Bible study on Wednesday night. And sounds like everything went through fairly well for that on Wednesday night, with the exception of the very end. And it's very ironic to me that we made it through the Bible study. Primarily, I meant to go till about 9, and sure enough, right at 9 o'clock sharp, my computer shut down, and it was really befuddling to me. I could not figure out why I couldn't get my computer to come back on. Well, it sits on a fan, and the fan cools the laptop. But anytime I take my laptop somewhere, I usually turn the fan off. This little platform it sits on that fans it and keeps it cooled off. So lo and behold, right at 9 o'clock, it decided that in order to protect itself, it would shut down. And so that's exactly what it did. And so you all got a very abrupt conclusion to the Bible study Wednesday night. So I apologize for that, and I will be aware of that for next time. And hopefully in just the next couple, 3 weeks, we'll have another Bible study, virtual Bible study. It's very handy. It's easy to do as far as broadcasting from here, thanks to our friend who has done so much work in providing the means to broadcast in that manner. So very, very grateful for that, and I hope those of you who are able to attend that you found it to be profitable. Certainly that's the hope, but I hope we'll have more that join us the next time we do it. We had a fairly good turnout, but certainly not as many as I would hope, but I'm sure the word will get around, and I'll be sending out some announcements as we get closer to being able to announce the next Bible study for the area. So it's been a busy week here, very busy week, but very profitable and productive, and I've just been enjoying this gorgeous day here in Sussex, and I've had some thoughts, something that has certainly been on my mind here, especially today. You know, as you look out on the world and you spend time out there, no matter where you go, whether it's to the supermarket or it doesn't make any difference. It seems like there's just so much ugliness in the world and so much impatience, and we know what 2 Timothy 3 says about, you know, sort of the characteristics of an end-time world, the end-time society. And certainly we've got to be careful that we're not affected by those things in the Church of God, in those kind of attitudes and the approach that this world takes so often, and we see it. That's what creates so much ugliness in the world. There's so many that are doing things in the name of art, you know, certain things that are put together that are just kind of confused, and you know, colors everywhere, and that's supposed to be art. That's supposed to be beautiful, but in all reality, it's actually ugly. You know, frankly, a lot of the art that we see in the world today is just ugly. It's not real beauty. And we see so many people even today that are putting things on their own bodies in the name of art and calling that art, calling it something that's supposed to be beautiful, when God says very clearly, don't do that. Don't put tattoos on your skin. You know, it's really, it's not beauty. It's not art. It's actually, quite frankly, it's ugly. And we don't want to do that. Leviticus 19:28, God clearly says, don't do that. And so I know there have been those in their former lives before coming into a knowledge of the truth that have done that. And I haven't talked to very many that say that they don't regret that. I mean, when they come into a knowledge of the truth and they're able to put these things together, they certainly have you know, those types of regrets, but it's not something that certainly can't be forgiven. But to make that conscious decision to do those things in the name of beauty. That's my point. It's all in the name of beauty, things that are beautiful. I wonder how often we focus too much on the ugliness around us in this world, because we are surrounded in one sense by ugliness, but how much do we focus? And how much do we focus too much on the ugly and we miss all the beauty in the world? And how many things are truly beautiful in this world? Everything that God does is beautiful. Everything He created is beautiful. He's not even capable of being ugly. The scriptures say quite the obvious. God Himself is beautiful. Extreme beauty. Tremendous beauty. And what He does is beautiful. Even Lucifer, we read in Ezekiel 28 and verse 12 that Lucifer, before he rebelled and became Satan the devil, was created perfect in beauty. That was Lucifer's origin. That's how he was created. He was perfect in beauty. And yet, by the decisions that he made, he became very ugly. Very ugly. He was created as an angelic being, and that's beautiful. Angelic beings are created beautiful, and even perfect in beauty is what was said about Lucifer. But his ugly, rotten attitude is what turned him ugly, in the sense of his thoughts and his approach and the things that he pursued from that point on. Rotten and ugly. And that's the kind of world that we see today, because we know he's the God of this age, the ruler of this world, the prince of the power of the air. Ugly, broadcasting ugliness and rotten things and filth. And we see that so often, but we need to be looking at this world and trying to, certainly understand that there is ugliness in the world, but to focus on the beauty of God, the splendor of our great God, and that the fact that everything He does is beautiful. In Romans chapter 1 and verse 20, it says there, "For since the creation of the world, His invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even His eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." Talking about the physical creation of the world, when you look around, you can see the beauty. You can see what God had in mind. And we know that the Garden of Eden must have been absolutely beautiful. Perfect in so many ways, with so much color and variation and just absolutely beautiful. We see that in so many ways when we look around and we see the variety that God created. So many different kinds of birds. I was able to put in a bird bath finally. My office where I'm sitting, actually, when I look over at what would be my left shoulder, where I'm sitting right now, I'm looking at a beautiful landscape. Not what we're trying to improve upon it, but when we got here, it was a beautiful landscape yard. And I put a bird feeder in right here in front where I can see, we had a beautiful set of cardinals that have been coming by and taking advantage of our bird feeder, a male and a female. It's just awesome. I love that. And seeing the variety of birds that come up and eat from the feeder, and put the bird bath in and see the little birds bathing themselves. And it's just neat to see the intricacy of God's creation and the mind that He has. What a beautiful mind. How beautiful His creation is. And I hope you have the opportunity. I guess I never really thought about that so much when you think about some people that, they would literally go stir crazy if their job involves sitting at a desk all day. And thankfully I'm in that position where I'm out and about at times, and I can get out and have a little bit more flexible schedule and take advantage of some of this beautiful weather. But I understand that, that some people want to be out there. They want to be working outside and working with their hands and being able to experience the creation in that way. And I understand that, and I appreciate that. There is so much beauty out there, and it's just such a beautiful creation. And you know, you understand that that God's way and His way of life is a way of beauty. It's a beautiful way of life, not just to the eyes, but when we talk about the beauty of God, we're talking about the beauty of the inner person as well. The final scripture in 1 Peter 3, you know, beauty, as they say, is in the eye of the beholder. But look at 1 Peter 3 and verse 4. It does have to do with our attitude and our approach. We can see the beauty in the world around us, but what about the beauty in other people? Are you focused on looking at the beautiful part of people? Because everyone is really beautiful. You know, we can have our idiosyncrasies and our little problems and our little quirks, and we're trying to work on those. But, you know, really we need to be looking for that inner beauty in people and see that that's very important as well. In 1 Peter 3 and verse 3, he says, "Do not let your adornment be merely outward," not just focused on outward. Of course, that's important too. We don't want to be slovenly and looking messy and disheveled. But we shouldn't just be focused on that, on what we look like on the outside. No, there's a very important aspect of what we look like on the inside, and not just being so focused on the outward appearance. Arranging the hair, wearing gold, putting on fine apparel. Not that there's anything wrong with that, with being balanced in the way that we want to look presentable and have that type of put together look. We shouldn't just kind of let ourselves go either. In verse 4, but rather let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. So when we read something where it says it's very precious in the sight of God, we need to really give some consideration to that. That's good, to think that God sees that as something that we can work on, that is precious in His sight. Not being so focused outwardly, but being focused inward, on the inner person. How are we as far as our beauty in the inner person? And not being quite so focused on how we look and the outward adornment. It's just not as important as that incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit. That's a beautiful statement, and it's precious in the sight of God. Well, I better end this, and I hope you have a fantastic, wonderful, marvelous Sabbath wherever you're at. We look forward to seeing the brethren there in Chicago and the rest of you as we make the rounds. And we love you all very, very much. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for supporting the work of God and for supporting one another and praying for one another. Have a marvelous Sabbath. Take care.